How's it going, guys? Tonight I'm actually going to be bringing you along for an upgrade for both the bedroom 29-gallon tank and the 90-gallon African cichlid tank behind me. This is a bit of an involuntary upgrade, but hopefully it works out as a whole. You see, I haven't really had any algae problems because my plants have done so extraordinarily well at consuming all of the nutrients in the water, and even though my tank is in front of this blinded window here, I do have slatted wood blinds. They really do block out about 95% of the light, and I live in the fifth grayest location you could live in this whole country. We get approximately 50 days of not gray out of 365 days in a year. So really we're gray pretty much all the time. So really the closest thing to any algae buildup I have had has been maybe a tiny bit of diatoms along the front of the glass here, which my bristlenose plecostomus odorous would just gobble right up, and I had no problems until very recently. And it's not anything that I have chosen to do that has caused this issue. It's been just kind of some happy circumstances that is really fortunate on my part that then became a little unfortunate just due to fish behavior. See, I have a fish that is causing my algae. And you're going to say, what on earth are you talking about? And I'll get into that in a second. But locally, our water is very prone to algae as it is, and so that's why I was so careful with having this planted tank to really just consume the nutrients. And on my last purchase from a local breeder, I'll show you actually what I bought. Let me just flip the switch here. See, my timer's kicked off. So, on my last purchase, break this guy free. My last purchase here from a local breeder, I got this big ol' duder right there. Oh, come on, get back here. Not the fire eye here, although he is very attractive. Okay, so here's one of them. This is a sunshine here. Of course, they all think they're getting fed. That's a little 3.5-inch sunshine there, but the big guy right there, that big hybrid, those two were my last purchase. But this guy here, this dragon blood with the one kind of blemish on his head, they actually gave me for customer loyalty, and this little turd has taken every nice plant I have and not eaten it, but torn them apart and spit them out. Even this Elodia here that's got this nice fresh leaf sticking out the top, he's taking a chunk off that brand new little leaf. And see, in the back here, let's go over what we had going on. Had lots of Temple compacta, which he has just massacred. I mean, this thing is 1.5 feet tall and just bare bones. It's now just a trunk. The Vincensis wants food too. And more Temple compacta, and you can see he's just chewed them all to bits. My fern is chewed to bits. My sword, just sad. And different species of sword, just torn to bits. The Elodia's doing alright, but also getting chewed on. And he chews them up and spits it out. He doesn't even eat it. None of these guys. Massive OB. Just looks awesome. None of these guys. Even my little rescue OB with his little marred up tail. He'll never have a full tail. You can see he's got some damage to the meat on the bottom there. At least hopefully I can focus in on him. And so he'll never grow his full tail, but he's grown back most of his fins. He's a little rescue. But anyway, none of my other Africans eat my plants. And he doesn't even eat them. He chews them up and spits them out. So now I have brown algae because I have excess nutrients in my water. The plants are no longer consuming them, and it's turning into algae, and it's growing because most of my circulation, I do have circulation through the tank, but most of it comes across the top and then comes through here much slower. And then of course my filtration sucks through the bottom, so brown algae. And there's no way my bristlenose could ever hope to keep up with it, especially since he'd much rather be snacking on some cucumber or catching, he actually likes when these guys scatter beef heart around. He goes crazy for that too, which is super weird. But, so, what I'm hopefully going to have some success with is this guy. This is a all-in-one UV sterilizer and power head. And what happens is this sucks in the water here, and it goes through here along the bulb and around here and along the other side of the bulb to get twice as much time with the UV light, and then goes through a slower, much slower than these power heads, through the power head, and then is going to increase tank circulation as well as provide sterilization. My understanding though is these have a bit of assembly involved. So what we're going to do today, we're going to assemble this guy, and I also have one for the 29 on a just in case basis. We're going to assemble this guy. We're going to do a 50% water change. We're going to drop down to about here, and we're going to scrub the rocks, remove the carcasses that once were my beautiful plant life. We're not feeding them again. They've been fed. They're lying. They're liars. And then we'll go ahead, get this guy installed. And I'm honestly thinking we're going to move the heater maybe to a more centralized location, and we're going to run this guy down here. Maybe sideways, facing this way, because it doesn't look very deep, but this tank is 18 inches deep. So this guy is not 18 inches. We should be fine. So that's what we're going to do, and I'm going to take you along for the ride. So it's actually been a little over a month since installing the UV sterilizer, and I've actually moved it. I now have it more centralized in the tank and running horizontal, facing down, pulling in from the top. I like a few things about it. I like that it has some mechanical filtration to it, and it actually will catch particulates in the intake sponge, and it's a cleanable, really porous sponge filter option. I do like that, and it does seem to do a better job of keeping the tank fairly clean, although it doesn't keep the big 90-gallon tank quite as spotless as the 29-gallon tank in the bedroom seems to stay with its much smaller UV unit. At the same time, you know, I dropped a much smaller, rated for up to a 55-gallon unit into that 29, and it's been spotless ever since. Not an ounce of algae, which has been, believe me, awesome. With all those fake plants in there, that thing is a nightmare to clean. This is much easier to clean, however, it does develop still a tiny bit of algae, not like it used to though, staying much cleaner, and of course my water stays really clear, which is awesome. So it's got me excited for the big Forza canister filter that is on the way for the 75-gallon Oscar project. I can't wait to get that going. I hope I get some better results out of that filter. All in all, I'd say that's a pretty decent project, but rated for 125 gallons and struggling on a 90-gallon tank to really maintain perfect clarity and really maintain a lack of algae really has been kind of a tad bit frustrating. I mean, overall, I think we gotta, you know, give this product a little bit more of like a C+ rating rather than an A+. You know, it's been good. I'm gonna keep it in there. Obviously, I do like it, but you know, it just doesn't quite do 100% of the promised job that I really hoped it would. But as you can see, these fish are thinking it's time for food, so let's get them some food. So it being dinner time, usually my fish will hand feed. It's a bit late, but let's get them up here and time for food, guys. Oh no, he's taking it away. Come on, guys. You see the little guy's definite tank boss here. These guys are great eaters, but I feed them pretty much everything. They get a mixed cichlid pellet. They do get a mix of this here's bloodworms, but they also get beef hearts. Sometimes they'll get plankton. Sometimes they'll get just a freshwater carnivore mix. Sometimes they get actually 2 brands of pellets. So, solid mix of food for these guys. But all of them are growing and doing well, and it's nice to see these pretty colors. And then, of course, there's a upside down Plecostomus there. So, the tank's doing super well, and you know, I look forward to bringing you some more updates on it, but I really look forward to bringing you updates on that 75 project we keep talking about. It's going to be awesome.